Hey, I'm James, and welcome to Alternate Sides, a podcast about movies, parking, and a 25-year friendship. This week we head to the border to explore John Sayles' 1996 drama Lone Star, starring Chris Cooper, Matthew McConaughey, and Kris Kristofferson as a real son of a bitch. It's a movie about borders and connections. Along the way, we get an update from Sam about the Emmys, and a general pulse check on the movie business. It's going great, guys. It's going great. Here we go. So I know where I am. I'm in my house. But where are you?
I'm coming to you live from Silver Lake, Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles.
City of dreams. Shattered dreams in our case.
Say more.
Well, out here, as you know, for the Creative Arts Emmys, which just took place, I went 0 for 3. Didn't manage to bring any of the statues back.
Three-time loser,
Sam Neill. No, we were here for the weekend. It was fun. I must say, I'm not a fan of awards shows, as you know, and this did nothing really to alter that, and probably, in fact, cemented my position on
I'm curious about this because it doesn't surprise me at all that you hate awards shows, but I'm curious what it's like with the nuts and bolts. My impression is like you have to sit in your car for a long time, and like the bar is 3 people deep all the time, and there's a lot of logistics and faffing about.
The thing itself, the ceremony itself. So what they do, the Creative Arts Emmys, it's basically all the, it's like the crew. It's not the actors, it's the crew. It's the editors, it's the cinematographer, composers, exactly. But the documentaries get placed with all the other non-scripted stuff. So they get put in this bucket with variety shows, weirdly with awards shows. We'll get into that. With reality shows, with competition shows, I guess.
Huh.
But also, like, at one point, they gave an award to a commercial, which was weird. The Oscars got about, I think I lost count, but like 4 or 5 Emmys.
It seems almost embarrassing that you didn't win. Seems like they're giving them out like left, right, and center. So many categories.
I have to say, I did feel at the end of it, it would have been nice to win, if only because it would have made sitting through it more justified. By the end, the Oscars won an award, and Jimmy Kimmel got up and he was like, the Emmys giving the Oscars award is sort of like feeding a ham sandwich to a pig. Which I was like, yeah, like that's how we all feel. Like, it's very weird and not really, it doesn't really make any sense. And then the categories were also so weird. Like, I had not really paid much attention to what the Jinx was up against, but like one of the things we were nominated for was a writing award. And I'm not actually sure, now that I think about it, why we were nominated for a writing award. Like, what does that mean for a documentary? And I think there's some controversy about what does it represent, writing in a documentary. But we lost it to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and the guy who got up was brilliant. Like, you could tell this is a seasoned comedy writer.
Right.
He said, first of all, it's such an honor to be nominated in the category with comedy legend Robert Durst. And he was just like very, very, very good at that. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Okay. And then, as we predicted, we lost the documentary series to Beckham, which the night before, we'd actually been hanging out with Fisher, and everyone told him, obviously, you're going to win.
This is actor, producer, director Fisher Stevens, who's also a friend of yours.
Yeah, a friend of ours, lives down the road, and I love him and his wife. And he did say as well, he said, this is like my 7th nomination. So it's kind of nice to finally get one. But
yeah, Tim texted me from the ceremony and just said, this guy in front of me keeps blocking my view, and sent me a photo of the back of your head.
It's so lovely, Tim. I really enjoyed hanging out with him.
It's an utter delight for me, I have to say, to know like half a dozen people who are up for Emmys, and to see the photos of everyone in their gowns and tuxes.
Yeah. It's a treat. It's like a real treat. I think the truth is, I feel like there's a slightly industrial scale.
What's the Woody Allen joke? What is that from Annie Hall, where he talks
All they
about?
do out here is give awards. Greatest fascist dictator, Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Totally. And that was in 75 or whatever. They didn't give this many awards out then. I've seen some lovely people, caught up with some friends.
You've had some meetings.
I've had some meetings, but everyone is really freaked out. We can get into this, I guess, in relationship to the movies, but like I had this one meeting, this lovely guy at Netflix. We went and had lunch in the canteen, and I was like, it's very Google-like here, like the way that it all kind of works. And he said, yeah, it's a tech company. And he said, that's what's going on. He's like, Netflix, which actually is the one that is kind of a studio, is a tech company. Apple and Amazon are fully fucking tech companies. Once the tech companies take over, they don't have the same concerns about the product that they're making at all. That's not the product they're making. This is simply a means, like a side gig or a subscriptions-based gig or a...
Yeah, this is what Molly said when the strikes were going on, that for some of the traditional studios, it felt like they couldn't really hold out that long, and the studios hasn't had an incentive to negotiate. Whereas for Apple, their TV production is like pocket change. You want to go on strike? Go on strike. Go on strike for 3 years. It doesn't affect us at all. We don't need that income.
This guy at Netflix was like, if you work a few years and then you do a few seasons of a show, the moment your show is done, you're dead to them. There's no like, oh, you're like part of the family now. You're part of the Paramount system or the Sony world. No, none of that. That's it. Your contract is over. Thank you so much. We'll call you next time. We'll come back in if you have anything to offer, and we'll tell you what the computer says in terms of.
Molly designed Charlie Kaufman's last movie. I'm thinking of Ending Things. And she described this meeting, which is very Kaufman-esque, actually, where it was her and Charlie and maybe the cinematographer doing this virtual meeting with Netflix. And on the other side of the meeting were like 25 people. And it was like, here is so-and-so who is like associate vice president in for
domestic,
the 18 to 25 domestic, whatever, like all of these, they were sort of seated in this tiered like horseshoe shape. And they showed him the algorithm and like who watches Charlie Kaufman movies and who doesn't and why. And I think it takes all the, so I think this is a good moment to pivot to Lone Star, this movie by John Sayles, because one thing I thought about was like, man, to watch Safe and then this back to back, this was really a period of great independent movies in America. I'm curious if you agree with me, but like, it's just not a movie that would get made. A kind of movie like it might get made, but it wouldn't have the same, it wouldn't be allowed to have the same rhythms and the same concerns and the same subtleties. I feel like
I very much agree that it feels like a movie that wouldn't get made, but it's a weird thing to say because in a way you could make that movie today a lot cheaper than was made then. And you could, it's not like it's filled with stars, and it's not like the movie cost a lot to make back then, but that there was a like an ecosystem that allowed for that movie, once it's made, to then thrive.
So you could make the movie, but no one would see it?
Yeah, I think you could make that movie for $500,000 now. You can raise that money independently, and you'd have to like strike gold. It'd have to get into Sundance and win the grand jury prize in order to get distribution, and even those steps are no guarantee that it would make its money back.
Well, I think we can both rattle off a lot of names of movies of people made by people we know who even were very successful at Sundance or maybe won Sundance, and the movies never really panned out. But then you also sometimes get a Captain Fantastic or a
Coda.
Yeah.
I think it's just that the numbers have changed dramatically. So
is it fair to me? Am I an old guy saying in the old days they used to make better movies than now, which they were saying in the 90s about the 70s? Or is it true?
I think they 100% were making, they were, first of all, about 5 to 10 years ago, we were making far too many movies. It seems like there was this. It was kind of the peak of that digital sort of democratization of the system, where okay, anyone can make a movie. That doesn't mean anyone should, because there's just too many movies for people to see. And now we're in this weird place where the distribution model is so confusing, because are we making the movies in order to watch them on Netflix? Anyway, it's a very, very strange time. Everyone's freaked out. And a film like Lone Star, I had seen this movie in the cinema, I think, in whenever it was, 96, and I couldn't remember anything about it. And it makes sense to me now that it just slipped out of my memory, because there are things in it that I think at the time I can remember feeling like, I don't really love that. Or the tone shifts in it, like some of the
it's
music,
almost jaunty the way it starts. The music, it is weird,
and ends,
it is weird,
and ends. The music is jaunty, and this thing of like the memory, the flashback. First of all, you should do a recap, because how complicated is this fucking movie?
Okay, it's a little bit too much of a good thing, I think.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
It's set in a border town in Texas, and Chris Cooper plays the sheriff, and he's the son of a legendary sheriff around town, Buddy.
Buddy D,
who everyone seems to love. And it's sort of a mystery movie about, so it is unbelievably complicated to describe it. Basically, a skeleton is discovered, which seems to be the body of a predecessor sheriff of our guy, the Chris Cooper character. I'm already getting into
played by Kris Kristofferson.
Played by Kris Kristofferson. So there's sort of three sheriffs. There's Kris Kristofferson, who's a completely amoral, corrupt, murdering son of a bitch from the 50s. And then there's the generation below him, which is Buddy, who's played by Matthew McConaughey. And we see a flashback where Buddy, Matthew McConaughey, sort of exposes the corrupt guy in front of the town in a way and forces him out. And then Buddy's son, played by the Chris Cooper character, is now the sheriff and kind of hates his father, or like resents the legend of his father.
Right.
And what happens is they discover the body or the skeleton of the Kris Kristofferson son of a bitch character. And the question of the movie is basically like, did Buddy, Chris Cooper's father, basically murder the Kris Kristofferson character and take off with this $10,000?
But okay, so that's the one kind of thing. But then there's all of this stuff about the different sort of groups in this little town.
It's very topical, actually.
Exactly.
I mean, thematically, the whole movie is about borders and boundaries and how porous they are. Like the boundary between America and Mexico, and the way that the Tejano characters and the black characters and the Native Americans and the whites all go. And they have what's quite a prescient, I would say, you might say prescient, scene where there's like an argument at the school board about the textbooks and whose history is going to be...
The Alamo. How do we tell the story of the Alamo?
Yeah.
Right.
And there are the borders between... fathers and sons. But when I say too much of a good thing, it's because in the end, in a way that should be satisfying, actually, especially to me, because like I love when everything's wrapped up neatly at the end, in like an Agatha Christie type way. But it's like too much. Everything is connected to everything else in a way that just starts to feel like not real.
Yes. I think there is a not real element to it. I'm not sure what it is exactly. It's
very stagey. It's very stagey.
It is stagey. And I don't know if that's on purpose. I did like there's some performance, especially the kids were not good. Not good at all. I gotta say, even the Fran McDormand scene I thought was a bit shit.
Too much.
Too much. There's just something, I don't know, that everyone raves about Sayles. I gotta say, I'm not sure I love him as much as everyone else does. I think if you gave that movie, or if you gave that script to, like, Robert Altman, I think Robert Altman would do a really amazing job with this story, because he's very, like, that kind of broad palette and very, very kind of lots of different corners of a world. Like if you think about Shortcuts, like the way that he goes into Los Angeles, but in all the different little bits and pieces, different characters, different scenes, and you don't have to tie them all together like neatly. And what's sort of missing in this that I think the Altman version would do, to my taste, more satisfyingly, is a little bit of ambiguity in the scenes, a little bit of just ordinary life. Like the guys I actually quite like are the two guys at the beginning of the movie who discover the body, and then we kind of abandon them. But like all those peripheral characters, I think were more interesting as like just kind of local color, rather than, oh, and do you know who this person's dad was? Oh, it happens to be the guy that other person shot. Oh my God, and they don't know it. And it's like so many ties, like I could feel the index cards of the script. Like
we're all connected some. It's an American movie. It's all about we're all one big, beautiful tapestry woven together.
Yeah.
But I think that's the idea with these time cuts. Instead of doing a flashback the way that, you might just cut to a flashback, or you might do some kind of...
I don't know why. You're right that I love that shit. And I don't know why here it felt very mannered. Maybe because it didn't quite, I don't know, it didn't quite work for me.
You've been in LA too long.
I don't know. But I'm not surprised that I don't remember this film that well. And I think in about a year's time, I won't remember it again. Whereas I remember Safe. There's scenes from Safe that are etched in my memory that I just think, as a piece of filmmaking, it's just much more my style.
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Although I don't need the slow dance scene with the jukebox late at night between the two characters. I kept waiting for some twist on it or something. Nope. It's just a straight up two characters. She puts a song on the jukebox and they slow dance in the restaurant after hours.
Oh, what about the ending? Let's talk about the ending, because these two, they realize that in the end, the big twist is that they share a dad.
Yeah, Chris Cooper comes, part of the reason, so he went away to escape his father, and then he came back a couple of years ago and became the sheriff. And it emerges that part of the reason for that is because he always loved his high school true love. And they were separated by their parents, kept apart, we think because of all this sort of racial, ethnic stuff. And I love the fact that her mother thinks of herself as Spanish, not Mexican, right? Good. Like going back to Cortez, and it's like makes her Mexican employees speak in English, even though she runs like a Mexican restaurant. And so there's the love stories between Chris Cooper and the high school girlfriend who's now a teacher. And they reconnect, and it's beautiful and could have been just fine. But then at the end, what you discover is that Chris Cooper's dad, the McConaughey character in the flashbacks, was having an affair with this woman's mom who ran the Mexican restaurant. And that actually Matthew McConaughey is the father of both of them. And so they're half siblings. And so what do? They decide, well, she can't have kids anymore because of something that happened during the birth of her daughter. So since there's no danger of having like
it's very funny.
A child, an incestuous child or whatever, let's just go for it. So then they decide to go ahead with it.
It's a very weird ending to the movie, because I feel like it is one loose end too many. Like, because
you don't need that at all.
You don't need it at all. And what it does is it forces them into this incredibly strange bargain that you just described at the very end of the movie. Well, what do you think? Well, I've always loved you, kind of thing. Let's just go for it. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
It's literally in the last scene. Yeah.
You have the same dad. Don't think that's okay. I don't know. Maybe
love is mysterious, I guess.
Love has its own reasons.
Yeah, the heart wants what it wants.
Exactly. I do think that's a really weird ending to the movie.
I guess it would be boring if we both felt the same way about all these movies, but it's a little bit embarrassing that like I come in thinking this is a great movie, and now I'm slowly thinking maybe it's not so great.
Moved you off that.
I was thinking of the movie itself. I didn't think we would probably have too much to say about it, and more about like the idea of this movie or that era of movies, that mid-90s indie. I was living in New York at the time this came out, and I remember seeing the review or the listing of it in was it the Village Voice? But it was in a newspaper, an actual newspaper when there were such things. It was playing down at Film Forum or whatever. And I considered going to it. And then, of course, it was too scary. So I didn't.
Decided against it. Probably best to stay home.
It's just safer that way.
Just safer, yeah. Just don't. Why would I go out?
Yeah.
Why would I go to the movies? Yeah.
I'm into the movies now. I've been watching. I've seen a couple actually recently. Molly and I coincidentally saw It Happened One Night.
Oh yeah.
We watched, which we mentioned in the context of The Silence of the Lambs, because It Happened One Night is one of the 3 movies that won the 5 big Academy Awards.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was fun. It was of its time for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 90 years old now.
Yeah.
And it's Clark Gable, and it's got a lot of like, hey, mister, that's my wife you're talking to, that kind of thing.
I love that shit.
Yeah, this is sort of
This is the town for that stuff. I mean, I'm literally a stone's throw from Sunset Boulevard.
Right.
There's sort of this weird, like, beaten up glamour about Los Angeles, but also we were staying in downtown LA, which, as Alex put it, has real Mad Max vibes. It's like so scary, so sketchy down there. It's very weird. It's very like just walking around there. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you never leave the hotel." Everyone knows that. Very lonely. I feel like Los Angeles. Very isolating.
This is what Molly says. This is why whenever I said like maybe we should have moved to LA or maybe we should have, she's like, no, James, you would not.
No, she's totally right. You would have loved it because you'd never have to see anyone, but then you'd slowly go crazy despite yourself. I don't love it here.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's appropriate for us to be speaking today because it's the anniversary.
Oh, that's right, September 11th.
You must never forget.
Never forget. Right.
You made sure for years that we would never.
I spent a lot of my time making sure other people would never forget.
Speaking of anniversaries as well, since I seem to mention my father on this podcast with much more frequency than I do in real life, in a couple of weeks it'll be the 30th anniversary of his death. 30 years since he died.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's an entire life. It's impossible to get one's arms around. Yeah. And I was thinking about you and thinking Sam has had, and I don't mean this I don't mean to.
See, I can see where this is going already.
No, I know. I was just thinking about like you and your dad, who's lovely, and the idea that you guys have had these like 30 Thanksgivings or 30 Christmases,
Yeah.
That my father and I didn't have, and that's that's a lot of turkey.
This is true. This is sounding a little bit like that. When they put the pressure on, it would be a real shame if anything happened. You got a nice family. You got a real nice family. It'd be a real shame if anything happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been very fortunate. I mean, and my dad too. My dad's dad made it to 100, almost 101.
Did I meet him? I believe I might have.
I think you did. Yeah. I think you met him and my grandma, my mom and Sarah, and you met my aunt definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
She always talks about you. My aunt who loves Richard Gere.
Does she talk about me because I eat too much? Because of the food? I'm the guy.
Because
this is like Stanley Tucci and the hot dog guy.
Because she said she kept giving you food and you just kept taking it. And finally, I said to her, I think, stop giving all the food. He's not a garbage disposal.
Oh, great! That's different than the version I've never heard that version. In previous tellings, you've said, I think you'll keep eating as long as you keep providing it. But you didn't. It's pretty rude to call me a garbage disposal.
I said he's not. I said he's not a guy. Don't do this. He doesn't know that he can say no. So stop giving him food.
It's funny because my father and my mother had this inside joke about my father eating a lot, and if you stepped on my father's foot, his head would go back and his mouth would open like a garbage, like a garbage can. So you're not too far off.
There you go. Look, so we were onto something.
Yeah.
And she loved the fact that you would drink. My dad still talks about it. You're the only person he knows who likes dur. The yogurt drink, the mint and yogurt.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
In fact, I wish that you were here now in LA. We could go to Attori. That was one of the best meals ever.
Oh yeah, Westwood.
In Westwood. Do you remember the guy I ordered the dur for you, and he looked over at you and was like, as in Farsi, he said to me, "Has he had duh before?" And I was like, "Yeah, he does." And then suddenly his countenance was like, "Wow!" Like everyone's really like, that's how you please an Iranian is tell them you'll have the duh.
I do love it. So we haven't actually talked about Lone Star that much. Maybe that's
That wasn't. I think that's all I had to say about it. What else was there to say?
Chris Cooper's very good.
The actors are good. Most of the actors, not the kids.
Hmm.
All right. So what you got for next week?
1997, mate.
We're getting up there. We're getting close to 2000.
I know. Titanic is this year, which I have seen, and you haven't seen.
I don't think I've seen bits of it. I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
When I first discovered that, I insisted that we pick Titanic, but you said there's no way you're watching that movie.
I don't want to watch the shit.
What else came out that year that I have seen? Good Will Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
L.A. Confidential.
I like that. My classics professor was really into that movie.
Contact, which is a movie I actually like a lot. The Jodie Foster.
I like that movie. It's a good movie.
Donnie Brasco.
You've seen Donnie Brasco?
Yeah.
I could have given you some more Pacino.
Yeah, I can't do more Pacino. I have come around on Pacino, though, I do have to say.
Donnie Brasco, that's an incredible performance.
Yeah, very sad, as I recall.
Actually, speaking of late Pacino and being vulnerable and not being like he's so small in that movie.
Yeah.
And jealous. And I gotta give Johnny Depp also is awesome in that movie.
Air Force One.
Okay, good.
That's more my speed. That's more my speed. Lost Highway, which I saw in the theater. A totally baffling movie. Yeah, the first time I saw that, I just
fantastic. What a crazy movie.
He was tapped in. That is a movie that is so strange.
Yeah.
Funny Games. Oh wait, I haven't seen Funny Games.
You haven't seen Funny. There's no way in hell.
I think I put that in the movies I have seen category so that I wouldn't it wouldn't come up. I tried to sneak that past you.
Scary movie ever than Funny. Okay, well we'll get to that.
I tried to sneak past you. No. I don't think that's going to be the one.
It's so scary. Oh my God.
No, I don't like that.
Deeply, deeply disturbing.
I don't like this. Is the Michael Haneke movie, which was then remade, right? He did an American version
by him.
Or an English version. Yeah.
Shot for shot.
That's interesting, yeah. Two movies I really like, which are also from this period of indie movies. The Ice Storm.
Love that movie. So good.
Kevin Kline. I got a soft spot for Kevin Kline. Yeah.
Kevin Kline's great. He's exactly the kind of actor I know that you would love. Slightly hammy, a little bit too much.
He's good.
Treacly, but good.
He's not treacly.
Dependable.
And The Sweet Hereafter.
Also very good.
Very good movie.
The lovely Ian Holm.
Yeah. And Sarah Polley.
Who we all worked with. Molly and I worked with on.
Joe Gould's Secret.
Joe Gould's Secret. He was lovely. He couldn't have been nicer. I talked to him a few times.
Taste of Cherry.
One of the all-time greats. Tana Gilas. With the late great Abbas. That's Humayun Irshadi.
Oh yeah, you should explain that.
So my dad is watching that movie in the cinema, goes to see that movie in the cinema. Doesn't really know anything about it other than it's an Iranian movie. The movie starts, and the guy in the car, famously, the movie follows this guy in a car for all the film, and he's the main character. And my dad
is he a taxi driver?
No, he's not a taxi driver. He's like an architect or something, but he's just driving because he's wanting to kill himself, and he wants someone to bury him. So he's found the spot, and he's going to go into the grave, and he's just looking for someone to pour a little dirt over him so he won't be. And the movie opens, and it's really this guy is like, it's mostly this guy for the whole movie, and it opens, and my dad just goes, "Hey, Humayun Irshadi." It was like his childhood best friend who lived down the road.
Amazing.
And he was like, and they'd fallen out of touch for 60 years at this point. And he couldn't really focus on the film because the whole time he was watching it, he was just remembering this childhood friendship from 60-something years ago. It's so crazy. And the fact that how Kiarostami found him, because he'd been trying to cast this part forever. And he stops at a red light and he looks over and he sees Homayun Ershadi in his car. And the film is mostly this guy in a car.
Mm.
And he looks over and he's like, that's the guy. That's the man. It's got to be. And he flags him down and says, and this is Iran. Says to the guy, would you mind pulling over? And goes like, sure. And I guess maybe he recognizes that it's Kiarostami. So he's like, yeah, okay. And he's like, I'm doing this film. I think he's like, I'm an art. Oh, that's right. He's not an architect in the movie. He's an architect in real life. That's why I got confused. And he's like, no, I'm an I'm not an actor. He's like, oh, that doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. Here's what we're gonna do. If you're okay with it, like I just want you to come and just read a little. Do it. Come to my house and we'll just try some things out. If you and he ends up being the star of one of the most famous of Kiarostami's films. Won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Like
Incredible.
Extraordinary. And then went on to like carry on acting. Like I think ditched the
really?
architect. Yeah, he was like the lead in The Kite Runner. Like big fucking movies after that. Because obviously this movie was huge in the like art house world.
All right, last one of the movies I've seen from that year. Affliction.
Ah, don't you sass me.
Yeah.
I wish you hadn't seen that. I'd love to
Nick
see that
Nolte
again.
pulling his tooth out with
Oh my
pliers.
God,
Yeah.
that's good. This is a good year. These are the ones you have seen. I can't wait.
Yeah, very
This is
good
some
year.
good movies.
That's a great movie.
Affliction's very good.
Who is that? Coburn? James Coburn
James
is
Coburn,
the dad?
the
He's
dad.
so
Don't you sass
hard.
me, boy.
Yeah. Licking the salt
Yeah,
off his
yes. I fucking
So-
love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I gotta
Is
watch
that
that
Schrader?
again.
Is that
Schrader,
a Paul? Yeah,
Schrader movie.
yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. I remember going to see that. I didn't know what I was getting into, and
This is why you didn't leave.
and really liking it, but just like if I knew now,
You would never have signed
never
up.
have gone. Yeah, I know. But so many movies from here are like that. I'm so glad to have seen them, and yet, you sort of have to go in not knowing anything.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't know anything about Lone Star except the title.
I didn't remember anything about it either.
All right, here we go. Movies from 1997 I have not seen. I'll start with a kind of a biggish one. Jackie Brown.
Ooh, never seen Jackie Brown. But you've seen the other Tarantinos.
I've seen Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and
So this was the third one. What made you stop there? You weren't satisfied?
I don't know that I like the Tarantino style. Like I've seen bits of Inglourious Bastards and bits of Django, and I don't
like
2.5
those ones,
hours of that feels like a lot.
Jackie Brown is sort of a very different kind of movie, actually. I think of those, like of this sort of run that pushes on. I've always, I've said on this podcast before that I think they get worse and worse over time. I think Reservoir Dogs is the high point.
All right, let me just run through a couple that I know we're not going to pick, but just the flavor of this year. Alien Resurrection, The Fifth Element,
Oh yeah.
Gattaca.
Oh, Gattaca's really good. Gattaca's really good. Don't sleep on Gattaca.
Okay. All right, here comes the big one. You ready? Boogie Nights.
Ooh, yes. Now we're talking. It's got to be Boogie Nights. You're right.
I think it's got to be Boogie Nights. The Game.
Ooh, wow. You never seen The Game? That's also very good. The Fincher. Michael Douglas.
How about Starship Troopers?
Very funny. Very funny movie. I like it.
How about Princess Mononoke?
Uh-huh. Sure. Studio Ghibli.
Con Air.
You would love Con Air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Malkovich and is Nicolas Cage. Who else is it? It's
Nicolas
like,
Cage. Yeah, with
yeah,
the long
it's
hair.
like it's hilarious. Yeah.
Huh.
So over the top.
The Full Monty.
Yeah.
That movie was
That's it.
so big.
So big in England. I know. Weird. Actually, everywhere. Won Oscars, I think. Didn't it?
I scored a movie that the director of The Full Monty, Peter Catania, I scored a film of his that he
Oh,
did
yeah.
subsequently. Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice guy. We never actually met in person, but he couldn't have been nicer. Doesn't respond to my emails. The Spanish Prisoner.
Oh, Mammoth. I just rewatched State and Maine the other day, and it really holds up.
Yeah, I like that
really
one.
holds up. I
Yeah.
think it's really good. And Spanish Prisoner is also extremely satisfying. It's a shame that Mamet's become like a fascist.
Yeah.
It's a big shame. But anyway, okay.
State and Main's the kind of movie I like. A lot of like fun cameos. Bill Macy is great. Alec
He's so
Baldwin
good
is
in it.
great.
He's
you know.
so good in it.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin. It's very well done. It's and the script is very it's just it is almost too much, but it's very like layered, just they're kind of just the right amount. Like everything like turns in on itself. It's a bit of a Rubik's Cube kind of. That might not be the right.
But it has a sort of light touch to it.
Very light touch.
Yeah.
Very, very light. Does it have to be an old mill?
I think that's one of the things about Lone Star. I do feel like is like the tone was a little bit with that jaunty music, and it seemed
jarring.
Like it could have been like this neo-noir, really dark, version of it, or it could have been this like more, I don't know, just okay.
But it wasn't. It was also a little bit soapy.
Right.
Like it wasn't either one. Even the way it's shot, Lone Star, it's a bit soapy. Right? The
soapy,
colors,
stagey soapy.
Stagey soapy.
Multicam.
a little bit multicam vibes.
No bigger insult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Multicam vibes. All right, here we go. Here are the 5. Jackie Brown, Boogie Nights, The Game, Gattaca, The Spanish Prisoner. That's a good year.
Funny Games. You keep omitting Funny Games.
No, I don't see that on the list actually anymore for some reason. Yeah.
And
this Titanic. We should do a double bill of Funny Games and Titanic.
Funny Games and Titanic. You would not survive seeing Funny Games, I don't think. I think you would be...
Why would you watch a movie like that?
I don't know. Hanukkah is... We will get to a Hanukkah movie that I don't think you've seen.
Yeah. So... I think it's got to be Boogie Nights.
It's got to be Boogie Nights. It's another long movie. You strap yourself in. It's not short.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. I like it. There'll be a lot to talk about there. I'm off to see Carpo this evening. I'll send him your regards.
Please do. Give him my best. He's doing a feature, right? He's going to make a feature.
Yeah, he's doing a feature in Mexico, which I think is going to be very funny.
Well, tell him... he's on the short list of people I would come out of retirement for. So if he wants to
he needs that James Levino feeling.
If he wants to reunite, I'm avails. Yeah.
Will do. Cheerio.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And that's that. In our next episode, we let it all hang out for P.T. Anderson's end-of-an-era drama, Boogie Nights. Great actors playing great characters with names like Reed Rothschild, Chest Rockwell, Buck Swope, Kurt Longjohn, and, of course, Dirk Diggler. Check it out if you have a chance. See you next time.